are going to discuss the nasopulmonary drug delivery system. So in this session, we are going to discuss pulmonary drug delivery system. So this is a disclaimer for the viewers. So in the today's session, we are going to discuss formulation considerations of pulmonary drug delivery system. So let us see the formulation considerations. There are three main formulation approaches are there which are widely used in the pulmonary drug delivery system. First one, that is a immediate release system. Second one, that is a controlled release system. Third one, that is a sustained release system. In the immediate release system, generally the excipient drug mixture such as a lactose and drug mixtures are used. In the controlled release systems like liposomes, micelles, nano and microparticle based systems are used. And in the case of sustained release systems, the microspheres are generally used. In the case of pulmonary drug delivery system, it is possible to prepare so many types of the dosage forms. These dosage forms are the solutions, suspensions, powders, liposomes, micelles, nanoparticles, microparticles, microspheres, and the nano suspension. So there is a need to consider the formulation aspects of the pulmonary drug delivery system. We have to suppose to consider the formulation of the solution, formulation of the suspension, formulation of the powders as a conventional way to deliver the drug into the lungs. Whereas for the controlled release or a sustained release, it is necessary to consider the formulation aspects of the liposomes, micelles, nanoparticles, microparticles, microspheres, and nanosuspension. It is possible to enhance the delivery of the drug by using these novel strategies. Let us see the further details of the formulation considerations in the pulmonary drug delivery system. Very first one, that is the nebulizer solution and the suspensions. Here I have made one table related with the dosage form, advantage, challenge in the designing, and the device options which are available. Alone, it is not possible to discuss the formulation aspects related with the pulmonary drug delivery system. Hence, I have combined the things related with the device option as well as the dosage form used to design and develop the pulmonary drug delivery system. So let us see the nebulizer solution and the suspension. The advantages of the nebulizer solution and suspensions are they are relatively straightforward to formulate. That is a main thing related with the solution and the suspension. Could be formulated as a powder for reconstitution at a time of use if needed for the shelf life. If there is any stability issues are there, then it is possible to formulate these solutions as well as the suspension in the form of powder for the reconstitution. For solution formulation, no need to generate fine particles of the API as the drug it is going to be dissolved into the liquid. It can deliver the low or high doses when we are using the nebulizer solutions or the suspension. Of the shelf devices are available. Fewer product performance characterization studies required for filling compared to meter dose inhalers and the DPIs. There are other formulations are also there, related with the pulmonary drug delivery systems, that is the metered dose inhalers and dry powder inhalers. So in compared to metered dose inhalers and dry powder inhalers, fewer product performance characterization studies are required for the filling in the case of nebulizer solution and the suspension. Generally faster and less expensive to develop than the metered dose inhalers and the dry powder inhalers. It is possible to develop the nebulizer solutions and the suspension at a faster rate as well as the cost effective. So these are the few advantages of the nebulizer solutions and the suspensions. Let us see the challenges in the development of the nebulizer solution and the suspension. A key challenge for solution, that is unit dose vial formulation, is a solution, that is stability of the API. That is the main challenge in the development of the nebulizer solution and the suspension. In the case of solution and suspension, protein may lose activity upon nebulization. Then devices are generally bulkier and less transportable than the dry powder inhalers and the metered dose inhalers. And furthermore, longer treatment times compared to metered dose inhalers and the dry powder inhalers. These are the challenges in the development of the nebulizer solutions and the suspensions. Let us see the device options which are available for the nebulizer solution and the suspensions. Jet nebulizers are widely available and inexpensive, but have a large residual volumes. Shear stresses can be had towards large molecules. Most are not breath actuated and lose drug on an exhalation cycle, and it is not very portable in nature. So this is about the jet nebulizers. Further advancement in the device option, that is the next generation nebulizers, that is a ultrasonic or vibrating mesh nebulizers are more expensive but tend to be similar and waste less drug. In the case of jet nebulizer, the wastage of drug, it is more as compared to ultrasonic or the vibrating mesh nebulizers. These are generally more portable than the traditional jet nebulizers. Ultrasonic nebulizers may generate heat. Vibrating mesh nebulizers tend to be less harsh for the protein, as the ultrasonic nebulizers, they are going to generate the heat that can raise the problem for the delivery of the protein and peptide types of the drug or the drugs which are thermolabile in nature. The second type of dosage form which is widely developed in the pulmonary drug delivery system, that is the dry powder inhaler. It is also known as the DPI. Let us see the advantages of DPIs. It can deliver low or high doses in a single or multi-dose configuration. So it is possible in the case of dry powder inhaler, itself name indicate that we are designing and developing the powder formulation for the inhalation purpose, and it is going to deliver the low or high doses in a single or multi-dose configuration. It avoids issues of solution stability. So stability for the dry powder, it is more than that of the solution formulation. It is small and easily transported. It can offer a high barrier to entry against generic competition. So these are the few advantages of the DPIs. Let us see the challenges in front of formulation scientists regarding the dry powder inhalers. Physical and chemical stability can be sensitive to the moisture ingress. So we have to suppose to consider the physical as well as the chemical stability which is related with the moisture. Fine powders can present the challenges in the processing. The particle size, it is very important thing in the case of dry powder formulation, and it becomes very difficult for the processing of the formulation in the case of dry powder inhaler. Very few of the shelf device options which are available in the case of dry powder inhalers. Significant product performance characterization studies are required for the filling. So these are the challenges in front of the formulation scientists for the development of dry powder formulations. Let us see the device options which are available in the case of dry powder inhalers. A single dose capsule based device is available, that is off the shelf. Then various devices are available to license or co-develop through few have progressed to late stage development. So these are furthermore, there are so many device options are there which are available for the dry powder inhalers. We will see the details of the device option furthermore in the devices. Let us see the further details of the dry powder inhalers. In the case of dry powder inhalers, we have to suppose to think about the dry powder formulation, then the inhaler device option, and powder filling and the packaging. Very first one, that is a dry powder formulation related with the product, as itself name indicates that it comprises the powder formulation. So whatever the particle size of the API is there, it should be less than 5 micrometer. Then pre-formulated API size reduced by the micronization, spray dry, or the other technology. Loose agglomerates of a pure API or the API diluent. API or the carrier. So these are the few options which are available in the product development of the dry powder formulation. That is particle size of the API, it should be less than 5 micrometer. Then it is pre-formulated API size reduced by the micronization or the spray drying or any other suitable technology like a freeze drying. Then loose agglomerates of the pure API with the diluent and the API and carrier. Here, generally, the lactose monohydrate, it is widely used as a carrier for the API in the case of dry powder formulation. Various processes which are used in the development of dry powder formulation, that is a blending and blender, that is a low shear and high shear. In the case of low shear, turbula shake mixer, then Farmtech blender, it is widely used. Then high shear, that is a high impact, Farmex, KG5, GLAT, Hoskawa, GE Nitro Pharma, and Diosna. So these are the things which are used related to the processing of the dry powder formulation. The inhaler devices options which are available in the case of dry powder inhalers are the active and the passive devices. Passive devices which are the breath actuated. Then factory metered and device metered devices. The powder filling and the packaging, there are so many technologies which are available like Quantos, then the Silodos, then the Omnidose, and some other options which are available for the formulation development of the dry powder inhalers. There are three types of the formulations which are developed in the case of the dry powder inhalers. Very first one, that is a pre-formulated small particles. So look at the figure. When this is present in the device, which looks like this, and when it is aerosolized into the individual particles and delivered from the devices to the lung. Then second one, that is a loose agglomerates of a drug and excipient particle. So these are the loose aggregates which are present in the device. When it is delivered to lung, it is going to be delivered as a individual particle. Then drug particle carrier, that is a lactose blend. So on the lactose, the drug, it is going to be present on the lactose in the device, and when it is delivered as a lactose, it is going to act as a carrier, and it is going to deliver the drug to the lung. So there are three types of the formulations which are developed in the case of DPIs. That is the pre-formulated small particles, loose agglomerates of the drug and excipient particles, and drug particle carrier blends. Let us see the further details. Let us see the key formulation considerations of the dry powder inhalers. There are three important things are there which needs to be considered in the development of the DPI. Very first one, that is a interactive blend formulations. Second one, that is a balanced drug carrier interactions and free flowing powders. So in the case of interactive blend formulation, drug particles eventually attached to the lactose surface. Here the lactose, it is going to act as a carrier. So there is a improved drug content uniformity and improved dose uniformity in the case of interactive blend formulation. The second, that is a balanced drug carrier interactions. There is a strong binding to improve the physical stability, no segregation during the device filling and the subsequent storage. And if there is a weak binding, to improve the aerosolization performance when delivered from the device, so as to the drug, it is going to be dissociated from the carrier. Then free flowing powders, that is easy for device filling, then accurately metered and improved dose uniformity. There are few other points are there which needs to be considered in the development of the formulation of dry powder inhalers. That is a selecting and controlling input drug particles, carriers, and excipients are important factors in a successful DPI formulation development. The second important thing, that is the DPI formulation and process conditions are equally important in achieving a good drug content uniformity and aerosolization performance. Device matters and must be considered iteratively during formulation screening and optimization. Emerging particle engineering technology provides a new way of streamlining the process and improving DPI formulation performance. So these are the some key formulation considerations in design and development of the dry powder inhalers. Let us see the particle-particle interaction and the force balance in the case of dry powder inhalers. Here I have shown one figure which is related with the static and dynamic properties of the dry powder formulation can be manipulated by controlling particle-particle interaction through selection of proper formulation and process condition. So very first one, that is weak interactions. So in the case of weak interaction between the API and the carrier like lactose, we are getting poor flow properties, poor delivered dose consistency, but there is a enhanced aerosolization performance as there is a fine lactose, low shear force for blending processes and smoother particle surface. In the second case, that is a good formulation means a sophisticated balance in the particle-particle interaction. That is a second case. And the third case, that is a strong interaction between the carrier and the API molecule. More condensed powder, better flowability, better delivered dose consistency, but we are going to compromising the aerosolization performance. As a large carrier lactose and high shear force blending processes is required and less smooth particle surface. So this is about the particle-particle interaction and the force balance in the development of the dry powder inhalation formulations. Let us see the formulation aspects related with the metered dose inhalers. In the case of metered dose inhalers, it is a widely accepted dosage form with a more than 50 years of market use. It delivers a large number of doses in a small and easily transported device. Formulations generally have low moisture content. In the case of meter dose inhalers. There are few challenges which are related with the meter dose inhalers. That is, it is not suitable for very high doses. That is the important thing. Suspension formulations are generally limited to maximum doses of about 1 to 5 milligram per actuation. So this is the meter dose inhaler which is used, which comprises, this is the headspace, then this is the inhaled air entry, this is the formulation which is filled into the aluminum can, then here it's a spacer reed, this is a crimp, then here it's a gasket, then it's a metering valve, this is the mouthpiece in from which the formulation is, it is going to be delivered, then here it's a atomizing nozzle, then this is the actuator body, and this is a valve stem. The chemical stability may be challenging to achieve in a solution formulation. So that is again challenging to the formulator to achieve the chemical stability of the solution formulation in the case of meter dose inhalers. Proteins may aggregate and lose activity in a hydrofluoroalkane formulations. So that is HFA. Significant performance characterization studies are required for the filling. The device options which are available, that is cans, valves, actuators, and dose counters are widely available off the shelf. So this is about the meter dose inhalers. Let us see the further details of the meter dose inhaler formulation. As I have said that it is possible to use the solutions as well as the suspensions in the case of meter dose inhalers. So first of all, we'll see the meter dose inhalation suspension formulation. In the case of suspension formulation, micronized drug particles suspended in the liquefied propellant. Here, we are using the liquefied propellant in the formulation, that is hydrofluoroalkane 134A or 227. It may contain the surfactants and the co-solvents to aid the suspension, that is related with the irregular particle, then polydisperse from 0.5 to 10 mm, and amorphous for the crystalline. So to support or to stabilize the suspension related with the irregularities in the particle size, then the polydispersability and stability related with the amorphous form of the drug, there is a need to use the surfactants and co-solvents in the suspension formulation. Whatever the suspension formulation which is used for the dry meter dose inhalers, it should be chemically stable, and furthermore it should be physically stable related with the sedimentation and creaming, then drug deposition, that is coated packaging material, and particle growth, that is related with the Oswald ripening and the aggregation. While developing the suspension formulation, we have to supposed to consider the effect of excipients on the stability of the formulation, and the main thing that is related with the liquefied propellant which is used in the formulation, and second, that is the use of the surfactants and the co-solvents. Furthermore, we are using the polymers to stabilize the suspension formulation, and we have to supposed to consider the physicochemical stability of the suspension formulation. All of you are aware about the formulation of the suspension. Let us see the MDI solution formulation. So here in the case of solution formulation, drug dissolved in the liquefied propellant may contain surfactant and co-solvents to dissolve the drug in aid to provide the or improve the solubility of API in the solvent. Here we are getting the excellent dose reproducibility, then as it is going to deliver as a fine spray. So there is a high throat deposition. It is limited to high potency, that is related with the low dose product or a highly soluble drug, and prone to chemical degradation. So these are certain aspects which needs to be considered related with the development of the suspension formulation and the solution formulation. Let us see the key considerations of metered dose inhalation formulation. So the consistent product performance on a stability and through the labeled number of dosage. There should be uniform formulation upon shaking to ensure metering and delivery of accurate and consistent dosage. Drug suspension stabilized by forming loose agglomerates and readily redispersed upon shaking after storage. No particle growth due to aggregation or crystal growth to ensure aerosolization performance, as there should be the fine particle dose and fine particle fraction. No drug loss due to deposition on can to ensure consistent doses through inhaler life. Protection from moisture ingression to ensure long-term stability. Let us see the excipients and the additives which are used in the development of the MDI formulation. Generally, the co-solvents are widely used in the HFA system. Very first one, that is a solubility enhancement in HFA, then the wedding. So in the case of solubility enhancement, which are required for drug, for example, QR, that is a HFA 134A and ethanol. Then the surfactants like Proventil, that is a combination of HFA, ethanol, and oleic acid. Then Symbicort, which comprises the HFA, PEG, and PVP, and some other excipients like Atrovent, which comprises the HFA, ethanol, water, and citric acid. So solubility enhancement of API, it is required in the HFA. Then the wetting of the particles, which can be improved in a suspension behavior by use of a Pro Air, which contains HFA and ethanol. Then reduce the drug deposition onto the container closure system. That is again important thing. Here one need to consider the wall function and the reduced friction. Generally, the ethanol and PEG 1000 are widely used as a co-solvent in the marketed formulation. So these are the things related with the metered dose inhalers, formulation development of the metered dose inhalers. Let us see the particle technologies for pulmonary drug delivery system. We have seen the things related with the formulation development, related with the nebulizer formulation, metered dose inhalers, and dry powder inhalers. But in order to get the optimized formulation, there is a need to use certain particle technologies, isn't it? And these particle technologies are the micronization, then spray freeze drying, and supercritical fluid crystallization. In order to get the particle size ranging between 1 to 5 micrometer. Widely used technology, all of you are aware about the micronization, spray freeze drying, and the supercritical fluid crystallization. Generally, the supercritical fluid crystallization, it is one of the new technology which is widely used in for the particle development in the pulmonary drug delivery systems. Let us see the few details related with the supercritical fluid crystallization methodology. Already we have discussed the supercritical methods in the micro encapsulation, and the same technology it is also used in the pulmonary drug delivery system for the particles. Very first one, that is a precipitation from supercritical solutions. For example, RESS, that is a rapid expansion of supercritical solution technology. The second, that is a precipitation using supercritical fluids as a non-solvents or the anti-solvents. For example, gas anti-solvent technique, supercritical anti-solvent, that is a SAS. Then precipitation with a compressed anti-solvents, that is a then aerosol spray extraction system, and solution enhanced dispersion by supercritical fluid. So these are the things related with the supercritical fluid crystallization, which are widely used as a particle technologies for the pulmonary drug delivery system. It is possible to use the micronization as well as the spray freeze drying. So this is about the particle technologies for the pulmonary drug delivery system. Let us see, just we have discussed the formulation aspects related with the pulmonary drug delivery system. Let us see the evaluation of the pulmonary drug delivery system. Pulmonary drug delivery system are evaluated with respect to the physicochemical characterization and related with the aerosol performance. So in the case of physicochemical characterization, there is a need to evaluate the product with respect to its morphology. The morphology of the product, it is accessed by using the scanning electron microscopy, then the TEM and the AFM. AFM, that is the atomic force microscopy. Then the flow characterization and water content related with the powder formulation. Then third one, that is a solid state characterization. Solid state characterization of the formulation, it is done by using the X-ray crystallography, then infrared spectroscopy, nuclear magnetic resonance, and the Raman spectroscopy. Then furthermore, the particle size can be determined and zeta potential needs to be measured in the case of suspension formulations. Furthermore, the particle size should be measured for the powder formulation. Apart from these, there are so many other evaluation parameters are there which are related with the formulations of the solutions and the suspensions as well as the powders related with the pulmonary drug delivery system. Let us see the evaluation points related with the aerosol performance. In the case of aerosol performance, needs to evaluate the wall delivery, then delivery of dosage units, that is a parametric tolerance interval testing and counting test. Then uniformity of dosage units, then aerodynamic particle size distribution and the spray pattern. So these are the certain evaluation tests for the pulmonary drug delivery system related with the formulation and related with the delivery device and the product. So this is about the evaluation of pulmonary drug delivery system. So in this session, we have discussed the formulation considerations related with the pulmonary drug delivery system. We have seen the details of the formulation related with the nebulizers, related with the dry powder inhalers, and related with the metered dose inhalers. Generally, we are formulating the solutions, suspensions, and the powders for the pulmonary drug delivery system. Furthermore, we have discussed the evaluation of the pulmonary drug delivery system. So here we have finished the point, that is the evaluation of the pulmonary drug delivery system and the formulation of pulmonary drug delivery system.